Hey warriors, you will lose people you thought would stay forever, not because they stopped caring, not because you did something wrong, but because life has a way of showing you who was meant to walk with you and who was only passing through. And when that moment comes, when you look around and realize you're standing alone, you'll understand something powerful. You were always enough. You just needed the world to step back so you could see it. Epictetus once said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." He understood what most of us forget, that the only reliable foundation in this life is the one you build within yourself. Everything else shifts, people change, promises fade, circumstances turn. But the person you become, the strength you carry inside, that stays. Standing alone doesn't mean you failed at connection. It means you stopped depending on others to complete you. There's a difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is a wound. Solitude is a choice. Loneliness screams for someone to fill the emptiness. Solitude whispers that you're already whole. And once you learn that difference, everything changes. We're taught to fear being alone. We're told that isolation is failure, that needing no one makes us cold. But that's not the truth. The truth is that the strongest people you'll ever meet learned to walk through fire by themselves. They didn't become hard. They became unshakable. They didn't close their hearts. They just stopped giving the key to everyone who asked. This isn't about pushing people away. It's about pulling yourself together. It's about understanding that before you can truly stand with anyone, you must first learn to stand on your own. And that takes more courage than most will ever admit. Because standing alone means facing everything you've been avoiding, your fears, your weaknesses, the parts of yourself you tried to hide behind other people. But here's what they don't tell you. On the other side of that fear is freedom, real freedom. The kind that doesn't need permission or approval, the kind that doesn't collapse when someone walks away, the kind that makes you realize you were never really alone. You were just finally meeting yourself. Before we go deeper, hit that like button. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to this channel. Every word is here for a reason. Stay with me until the end. If this resonates with you, let me know right now. I am enough alone. Number 1. Learn to survive without an audience. The applause will stop. One day, the people who celebrated every move you made will go silent, not because you became less worthy, but because attention is the most temporary thing in this world. It flows like water, always moving, never staying. And if you built your life on needing it, you'll drown the moment it dries up. Seneca warned us centuries ago, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." The trial we all face is learning to exist without witnesses, to do the right thing when no one's watching, to be excellent when there's no one there to praise you, to keep going when the crowd goes home. Think about it. How many times have you done something, achieved something, experienced something beautiful, and your first instinct was to share it, to post it, to tell someone, to make sure people knew? That instinct isn't wrong. We're human. We want connection. But when that instinct becomes a need, when you can't feel the value of your own life without someone else confirming it, you've handed away your power. Living for an audience makes you a performer in your own life. You stop asking, "Does this fulfill me?" and start asking, "Will this impress them?" You stop choosing based on your values and start choosing based on their reactions. Your joy becomes dependent on their approval. Your peace becomes hostage to their opinions. And slowly, without even realizing it, you disappear. The real you, the one beneath the performance, gets buried under layers of what you think people want to see. Every interaction becomes a calculation. Every choice becomes a presentation. You start editing your life in real time, cutting out anything that doesn't fit the narrative you think people want. You curate your pain. You filter your joy. You manufacture moments that look meaningful instead of actually living them. And the worst part? You start believing your own performance. You forget who you were before you learned to perform. You lose touch with your authentic desires because you've spent so long chasing desires you think will look good. You achieve things that mean nothing to you because they mean something to your audience. And then you stand at the top of a mountain you never wanted to climb, wondering why the view feels empty. The truth is, most people aren't even watching as closely as you think. They're not analyzing your every move. They're not keeping score of your wins and losses. They're too busy performing their own lives, worrying about their own audience, trying to impress people who aren't watching them either. It's a cycle of mutual delusion, everyone performing for everyone else. Nobody actually living. Most people watching your life don't care as much as you think they do. They're too busy worrying about their own audience. They'll cheer when you win because it costs them nothing. They'll forget you by tomorrow because they have their own lives to live. And that's not cruel, that's just reality. We're all the main character in our own story. Everyone else is background noise. So, what do? You learn to be your own audience. You learn to validate yourself. You wake up and do what needs to be done, not because someone will see it, but because you'll know you did it. You chase goals that matter to you, even if no one understands them. You find joy in the quiet moments, the ones that never make it to a screen or a story. You become someone who doesn't need constant confirmation that they exist. This doesn't mean you become cold or disconnected. It means you become free. Free to fail without shame. Free to succeed without needing a parade. Free to just be, without constantly performing. And here's what's beautiful about that freedom. When you stop needing an audience, you start attracting the right people. Not fans, not followers, but real humans who see you, not your highlight reel. The strongest version of you is the one that exists in private. The you that no one sees. The you that makes hard choices in the dark. The you that keeps promises to yourself when breaking them would be easier. That's the you that matters. That's the you that will carry you through everything life throws at you. Social media taught us that if something isn't shared, it didn't happen. But before cameras and screens, people lived entire, beautiful lives that no one outside their immediate circle ever knew about. They built, they loved, they struggled, they overcame, and they did it all without needing the world to watch. They survived without an audience, and they were stronger for it. You can do the same. Start small. Do something meaningful today, and don't tell anyone. Feel how that sits with you. Notice the discomfort. That discomfort is your dependence on external validation screaming for attention. Sit with it. Breathe through it. Let it pass. Do it again tomorrow and the day after. Slowly, you'll realize something profound. The value of what you do isn't determined by who knows about it. It's determined by the fact that you did it. Build a life that doesn't need spectators. Create meaning that doesn't require recognition. Find joy that doesn't depend on likes or comments or shares. Become someone who is whole, even in a room by themselves, because one day you will be in that room. And when that day comes, you need to be able to look at yourself and know, without anyone else's confirmation, that you are enough. The audience will leave. Make sure you're still standing when they do. If you're ready to break free from needing approval, declare it below. I validate myself. Number 2, do not measure loyalty by words. Promises are cheap when the weather is good. Everyone loves you when loving you costs nothing. They'll say forever when forever is just a word. They'll pledge loyalty when there's no test to prove it. But words without weight are just noise. And the moment pressure arrives, you'll learn who meant what they said and who was just filling silence. Epictetus taught, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." The same applies to loyalty. Real loyalty doesn't need speeches. It doesn't require constant reminders or grand declarations. Real loyalty shows up. It stays. It proves itself through action when action is hard. Listen carefully to this. People will tell you they'll be there. They'll promise to stand with you through anything. They'll make it sound so certain, so solid, that you'll build plans around their presence. You'll trust their words, like you'd trust the ground beneath your feet. And then the storm comes. The real test arrives, and suddenly those words evaporate like morning fog. This isn't about becoming cynical, it's about becoming wise. There's a difference. Cynicism says, trust no one. Wisdom says, trust actions over promises. Cynicism builds walls. Wisdom builds awareness. And awareness protects you without making you cold. There's a pattern you'll start to notice once you pay attention. The people who talk the most about loyalty are often the first to abandon ship. They make grand speeches about standing together. They post about real friendship and ride-or-die mentalities. They use words like family and forever, like they're throwing confetti at a parade. But when the actual test comes, when loyalty requires sacrifice instead of sentiment, they're nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, the truly loyal ones rarely announce themselves. They don't need to convince you of their commitment because they're too busy demonstrating it. They don't talk about being there for you. They just show up. They don't promise to help. They're already helping before you ask. Their loyalty is so consistent, so reliable, that you almost take it for granted until you see how rare it actually is. Watch how people respond when you're no longer useful to them. When you can't provide what you once did. When your status changes. When your resources dry up. When associating with you becomes complicated or inconvenient. That's when you see the truth. Some people loved you. Others loved what you could do for them. And there's a massive difference between those two things. Here's what pressure does. It reveals. When things get difficult, when standing with you becomes inconvenient or risky or uncomfortable, people show you who they really are. Not who they claim to be, not who they wanted to be, but who they actually are when it matters. And you need to pay attention to that. Not with anger, not with bitterness, but with clear eyes and a protected heart. Some people disappear the moment your value to them decreases. They were never loyal to you. They were loyal to what you provided: status, entertainment, resources, a reflection of themselves. And when those things shifted, so did they. They didn't betray you. They just stopped pretending. Others disappear because they're weak, not bad people, just people who can't handle weight. They love you, but they love their comfort more. They'd help you, but not if it costs them something real. They're there for good times, but not for rebuilding. And that's okay. You can love people and still understand their limits. You can appreciate what they offered while accepting what they can't give. Then there are the rare ones, the ones who don't just say they'll stay. They stay. They don't make a show of their loyalty. They just prove it. They show up when showing up is hard. They defend you when you're not in the room. They tell you hard truths when lies would be easier. They stay consistent when everything around you is chaos. These people are gold. Treat them accordingly. You'll know these people not by their words, but by their patterns. They're consistent across months, across years, across changing circumstances. They don't pick and choose when to be loyal based on what benefits them. They don't perform friendship when it's easy and disappear when it's hard. Their presence in your life isn't dependent on your success or failure. It's based on something deeper, something real. And here's what you need to understand about these people. They're not perfect. They'll make mistakes. They'll let you down sometimes. They'll have their own struggles that pull their attention away. But the difference is, they'll come back. They'll apologize. They'll acknowledge when they fall short. they'll work to repair what broke. Because their commitment to you isn't conditional on being perfect. It's rooted in genuine care. But here's the part that will challenge you. You need to stop being surprised when people don't show up. Stop being devastated when promises break. Stop giving your peace away to people who were never going to keep their word. Because if you measure everyone by their promises, you'll spend your whole life disappointed. But if you measure them by their actions, you'll know exactly who deserves your trust. Start watching what people do, not what they say. Do they follow through? Do they make time or make excuses? When you need them, do they show up or send a text about why they can't? When you're struggling, do they ask how you're doing or wait for you to be fun again? These patterns tell you everything. And once you see the patterns, you can't unsee them. This means you'll have to let some people go. Not with drama, not with anger, but with clarity. You'll have to accept that some relationships had an expiration date you didn't know about, that some people were only meant to be in your life for a chapter, not the whole book. And that's not failure, that's wisdom. That's you protecting your energy and your heart from people who can't hold them properly. Stop begging people to be who they promised they'd be. Stop waiting for them to become who you need them to be. See them as they are, right now, in this moment, with their actions, not their words, and make your decisions based on that truth. Because at the end of the day, loyalty isn't proven in comfort, it's proven in crisis. It's not what someone says when everything is easy, it's what they do when everything is hard. And the people who stay when staying is difficult, those are your people. Everyone else was just practicing their lines. Stop measuring loyalty by words. Measure it by presence, by consistency, by action, and you'll never be blindsided again. If you've learned this lesson the hard way, drop this in the comments. I trust actions. Number 3, today you matter, tomorrow you're forgotten. Your name will fade. Everything you're building, everything you're protecting, everything you think defines you, it will all become dust. The people who know your story today won't be here in 100 years. The achievements you're chasing will be forgotten. The reputation you're defending will disappear. And that's not tragic. That's liberating. Marcus Aurelius wrote these words. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. He understood something we forget. Impermanence isn't the enemy. It's the teacher. It strips away everything false and shows you what actually matters. We spend so much energy trying to be remembered. We obsess over our legacy. We worry about what people will say about us when we're gone. We make choices based on how they'll look years from now. And all of that is just fear wearing a different mask. Fear that our lives won't mean anything. Fear that we'll vanish without a trace. Fear that we don't matter. Here's something that will either terrify you or free you. In 100 years, almost everyone who knows your name will be dead. Your friends, your family, the people who witnessed your best moments and your worst mistakes. All gone, and with them goes your story. The narrative you spent your whole life building, the reputation you defended so fiercely, the image you worked so hard to maintain, it all disappears. Think about your great-great-grandparents. Do you know their names? Do you know what they cared about? What kept them up at night? What they dreamed of becoming? What broke their hearts? Probably not. And they were real people who lived full lives, who loved deeply, who struggled and hoped and feared. But to you, they're just names on a family tree. If that, this isn't meant to depress you. It's meant to wake you up. Because if you're going to be forgotten anyway, why are you living for the approval of people who won't remember you? Why are you making choices based on how they'll look to an audience that will cease to exist? Why are you defending a reputation that's already temporary? But here's the truth that will set you free. You already don't matter to most people, right now, while you're alive, and that's okay. The stranger passing you on the street won't remember your face. The person who cut you off in traffic already forgot you existed. Most people you've met have already moved on. They're living their lives. You're a footnote in their story, if you're in it at all. And you know what? The same is true for everyone. The celebrities you admire, the leaders you follow, the people who seem so important, so permanent. They're all temporary. Their fame is a moment. Their influence is borrowed time. In 2 generations, most of them will be names without faces. In 3, there'll be nothing at all. So why does this matter? Because when you accept that you'll be forgotten, you stop living for an imaginary future audience. You stop performing for people who won't remember. You stop making choices based on a legacy that won't exist. And you start living for right now, for this moment, for the people in front of you, for the life you can actually touch. This isn't depressing. This is freedom. When you realize nothing you do will echo through eternity, you're free to do what matters to you, not what looks impressive, not what sounds important, but what feels true. You can fail without shame because your failures won't be studied. You can succeed without pressure because your success won't define history. You can just be human, messy and beautiful and temporary. There's a relief that comes with accepting your own insignificance. Not the kind of insignificance that makes you feel worthless, the kind that makes you realize you're free. Free from the pressure of needing to be extraordinary, free from the weight of building a legacy, free from the exhausting work of managing how history will remember you, because history won't remember you. And that's okay. What matters isn't how many people know your name. It's how deeply you lived, how fully you loved, how present you were in the moments that made up your life. Those moments don't need to be documented. They don't need to be witnessed by thousands. They just need to be real. They need to be yours. Think about the people who shaped your life, your grandmother who taught you kindness, your teacher who believed in you, your friend who helped you through the darkest time. Are they famous? Will history books mention them? No, but they mattered to you, and that's enough. That's everything. You don't need to change the world. You don't need to be remembered by millions. You need to matter to the people you love. You need to live in a way that feels authentic to who you are. You need to build a life that satisfies your soul, not your ego. Because your ego wants immortality. Your soul just wants peace. Here's what happens when you let go of needing to be remembered. You stop wasting energy on things that don't matter. You stop chasing status that means nothing. You stop defending a reputation that's already fiction. You start asking better questions. Not, how will this look? But does this feel right? Not, will people remember this? But will I be proud of this? You start living smaller and deeper. You invest in moments instead of monuments. You have real conversations instead of networking. You build genuine connections instead of collecting contacts. You laugh without worrying if it looks cool. You cry without worrying if it looks weak. You exist without constantly checking if you're leaving a mark. Because here's the final truth. The mark you leave isn't on the world. It's on the people you touch. And they won't remember your accomplishments. They won't quote your achievements. They'll remember how you made them feel. They'll remember if you were kind, if you listened, if you showed up, if you were real. And when they forget you too, because they will, that's okay. You didn't live for them to remember. You lived because you were here, because you had breath in your lungs and a heart that beat, because you got this one chance to exist, and you didn't waste it trying to be immortal. Today you matter because you're here. Tomorrow you'll be forgotten because nothing lasts. And both of those things are true. Both of those things are okay. Live like it. If you're choosing freedom over fame, write this down. I live for now. Number 4. Live by presence. Energy follows alignment. Your energy is sacred. Not your time, not your money, not even your attention. Your energy. The life force that makes you who you are. The fuel that powers everything you do and feel and create. And most people give it away like it's infinite. They pour it into people who don't reciprocate. They waste it on relationships that drain them. They spend it chasing those who run away, and then they wonder why they feel empty. The Stoics had a phrase for this. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Stop spending your energy on people who don't see your value. Stop explaining yourself to those who've already decided not to understand. Stop investing in connections where you're the only one building. Energy follows alignment. Read that again. Your energy, your peace, your joy, it flows toward what matches your frequency, and it drains away from everything that doesn't. This isn't mystical. This is basic human truth. You feel lighter around certain people, heavier around others, more yourself in some spaces, less yourself in others. That's alignment showing you the truth. Your body keeps score even when your mind makes excuses. Notice how you feel after spending time with certain people. Do you feel energized or exhausted, inspired or deflated, more confident or more insecure? Your nervous system is giving you information. It's telling you whether this connection nourishes you or depletes you. Most people ignore these signals because acknowledging them means making difficult choices. We've been taught that walking away is giving up, that cutting people off is cruel, that if you really cared, you'd stay no matter what. But that's not wisdom. That's martyrdom. And martyrdom doesn't make you noble. It makes you resentful. It turns you into someone who gives from an empty cup and then wonders why everything tastes bitter. There's a difference between supporting someone through a hard season and being someone's emotional landfill. Support is temporary. It has boundaries. It flows both ways eventually. Being an emotional landfill means people dump their chaos on you repeatedly, take what they need, and leave without ever asking if you're okay, without ever considering that you might need support too. Here's what most people get wrong. They think loyalty means staying everywhere they've ever been, that love means never letting go, that commitment means pouring endlessly into people who give nothing back. But that's not loyalty, that's self-betrayal. Real loyalty starts with yourself, with honoring your own energy, with protecting your own peace. Pay attention to how people make you feel, not once, not in their best moment, but consistently, over time. Do you feel seen or invisible, valued or tolerated, energized or exhausted? Do they meet your effort or take it for granted? Do they show up or show excuses? Your body knows the answer before your mind admits it. That heaviness in your chest, that tension in your shoulders, that relief when they cancel plans. Listen to that. Some people are takers. They don't mean to be. They're just living from an empty place, trying to fill themselves with whatever they can pull from others. They call when they need something. They disappear when you need them. They love what you give, but never ask who you are. And if you let them, they'll drain you completely. Not because they're evil, because you taught them you're an endless well. Stop being an endless well for people who wouldn't offer you a cup of water. Here's what happens when you finally stop giving to people who only take. At first, they'll be confused. They'll reach out more, wondering why you're suddenly unavailable. They'll test your boundaries, pushing to see if you really mean it. Some will get angry. They'll accuse you of changing, of being selfish, of abandoning them. And you know what? Let them. Because what they're really saying is, I liked you better when you let me use you. They're not upset that you changed. They're upset that they can no longer take from you without giving back. They're mourning the version of you that prioritized their comfort over your well-being, and that version needed to die. When you start choosing alignment, you'll lose people. That's guaranteed. But look closely at who you're losing. You're not losing people who valued you. You're losing people who valued what you provided. You're not losing genuine connections. You're losing one-sided transactions that you mistook for relationships. And that's not loss, that's liberation. Then there are the ones who match you, who give as much as they take, who show up without being asked, who remember what matters to you, who celebrate your wins and sit with you in your losses, who don't need you to be perfect or impressive or useful, who just want you to be you. These people fill your cup while you fill theirs. This is alignment. This is where your energy should flow. But here's the hard part. Choosing alignment means letting go of misalignment. And misalignment often wears a familiar face. It's the friend you've known for years who only talks about themselves. It's the family member who criticizes everything you do. It's the partner who takes more than they give. It's the colleague who uses your work to climb. And because you have history with these people, because you love them or feel obligated to them, you stay. You keep giving. You keep hoping. You keep emptying yourself into connections that will never fill you back up. You need to stop, not with anger, not with announcements, but with quiet, firm boundaries. You need to redirect your energy toward people who honor it, who deserve it, who reciprocate it, and you need to let the rest fade. Not because you hate them, because you love yourself more. This doesn't make you selfish. It makes you wise. You can wish someone well from a distance. You can love them without letting them drain you. You can release them without drama or declarations. You just stop showing up where you're not valued. You stop chasing people who don't choose you. You stop forcing connections that don't flow. And then you watch what happens. The right people show up. The ones who are waiting for space in your life. The ones who see you and celebrate you and challenge you and grow with you. The ones who understand that friendship is mutual, that love is reciprocal, that relationships require effort from both sides. Energy follows alignment. And when you align yourself with the right people, everything changes. Ignore who ignores you, not out of spite, out of self-respect. Stand with those who stand with you, not because you need them, because choosing each other is beautiful. Your energy is limited. Your time is borrowed. Your peace is precious. Stop giving them away to people who wouldn't protect them. Live by presence. Be where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated, and watch your life transform. Number 5. Guard your peace with discipline. Peace is not a feeling you stumble into. It's a fortress you build, brick by brick, choice by choice, boundary by boundary. And the world will test those walls every single day. People will knock. They'll demand entry. They'll guilt you. They'll pressure you. They'll tell you that protecting your peace makes you selfish. But here's what they won't tell you. The moment you stop guarding your peace, everyone else will steal it. Lao Tzu understood this deeply when he said, "Silence is a source of great strength. Not the silence of weakness, not the silence of fear, but the silence of power. The silence that says, I don't need to explain myself to you. The silence that protects what's sacred. The silence that refuses to engage with chaos. Your peace is the most valuable thing you own, more valuable than money, more precious than time. Because without peace, nothing else matters. You can have everything and feel nothing. You can achieve everything and enjoy nothing. Peace is the foundation, and most people give it away without a second thought. Think about how easily you let people disturb your peace. A text message ruins your morning. A comment derails your day. Someone's opinion about your life keeps you up at night. A conflict that has nothing to do with you somehow becomes your emotional burden. You absorb other people's stress like a sponge and then wonder why you're always drowning. This happens because you never learned that you're allowed to protect yourself. You were taught that being available means being accessible at all times, that caring means carrying everyone's problems, that love means sacrificing your peace for someone else's comfort. But all of that is manipulation disguised as virtue. Real love doesn't demand your destruction. Real care doesn't require your suffering. Real connection doesn't cost you your sanity. And anyone who tells you otherwise is trying to use you. They want access to your peace so they can disturb it. They want permission to dump their chaos into your calm. And if you give it to them, they'll take everything and leave you with nothing. They give it to arguments that don't matter, to people who don't deserve access, to drama they weren't even part of, to opinions from strangers, to problems that aren't theirs to solve. They let anyone and everyone disturb their inner world, and then they wonder why they're anxious, exhausted, overwhelmed. It's because they left the gate open. Here's the truth that will challenge you. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not your family, not your friends, not your partner. Access is earned. It's not a right. It's a privilege. And you get to decide who earns it based on how they treat what you give them. Do they respect your boundaries? Do they honor your time? Do they add to your peace or subtract from it? Some people are chaos in human form. They live in drama, and they need you to live there too. They call with emergencies that aren't emergencies. They create problems where none exist. They thrive on conflict, and they pull you into it. And if you're not careful, you'll spend your whole life managing their emotional weather while your own sky stays dark. You need to understand something crucial. Some people are addicted to chaos, not because they're bad people, but because chaos is familiar. Peace makes them uncomfortable. Calm makes them anxious. So they create problems. They start arguments. They manufacture drama. And they need you to participate in it because your reaction validates their chaos. When you refuse to engage, when you stay calm in the face of their storm, one of two things happens. Either they'll escalate, trying harder to pull you in, or they'll move on to someone who will give them the reaction they're looking for. Either way, your job is the same. Stay still, stay quiet, stay protected. The people who truly love you won't test your peace. They'll protect it. They'll approach you with care, not chaos. They'll bring problems when they need genuine help, not drama for entertainment. They'll respect your boundaries without you having to defend them constantly. And when they do occasionally disturb your peace, they'll apologize and adjust. That's the difference. You need to learn to say no, not the apologetic no, not the explained no, just no. No, I can't take that on. No, I'm not available. No, that doesn't work for me. Without justification, without defense, just a clean, clear boundary. And when people push back, because they will, you stay firm, because your peace is not up for negotiation. Distance is sometimes the kindest thing you can offer. Not punishment, not rejection, just space. There are people you love who you cannot be close to, because proximity to them costs you your peace. And you can love them from far away. You can wish them well. You can hope they find what they're looking for, but you don't have to sacrifice yourself to save them. This is where discipline comes in, because protecting your peace isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily practice. It's choosing not to respond to that text that will start an argument. It's walking away from conversations that drain you. It's turning off your phone when you need silence. It's saying no to invitations that feel like obligations. It's disappointing people to honor yourself. And yes, people will be upset. They'll call you distant. They'll say you've changed. They'll accuse you of being cold or selfish or different. And you know what? They're right. You have changed. You stopped letting them treat your peace like it's worthless. You stopped being available for every crisis. You stopped absorbing everyone's pain. You changed because you had to, because staying the same was killing you. Silence becomes protection. When people try to bait you into arguments, silence. When they want you to defend yourself, silence. When they gossip and expect you to join in, silence. When they demand explanations you don't owe, silence. Not because you're weak, because you're wise. Because you know that not every battle needs a warrior. Some battles need to be starved of attention. Your peace is built in the quiet. In the mornings you spend alone. In the evenings you protect. In the spaces you create that belong only to you. No phones, no demands, no performances. Just you and the life you're building. That's where strength lives. That's where clarity comes from. That's where you remember who you are beneath all the noise. Guard it with everything you have. Don't let anyone convince you that protecting your peace is selfish. It's survival. It's sanity. It's the difference between living and just existing. Build your walls. Lock your gates. Let in only what honors what's inside. And watch how your life transforms when you finally put yourself first. Peace is not passive. Peace is a choice you make every single day. Choose it, protect it, live it. If you're finally putting yourself first, type this with conviction. I protect my peace. Number 6, building a character you can rely on. When everyone leaves, you remain. That's the reality nobody prepares you for. At the end of every story, every relationship, every season of your life, there's one constant: you. And if you haven't built a character you can trust, you'll collapse under the weight of your own company. You'll run from yourself. You'll fill every silence with noise. You'll search for anyone to distract you from the person you became. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said it perfectly. Character is destiny, not your circumstances, not your luck, not who loves you or who leaves you. Your character, the internal foundation you build, determines everything that follows. And most people never build it. They borrow their identity from others. They define themselves by their relationships. And when those relationships end, they have nothing left. So what does it mean to build a character you can rely on? It means becoming someone you respect, someone whose choices you trust, someone who keeps promises, especially the ones made to themselves. It starts with integrity, not the kind people see, the kind nobody sees. The promises you keep when breaking them would be easier. The truth you tell when lying would benefit you. The work you do when no one's checking. The person you are in private. That's your real character. Here's the test most people fail. What do you do when no one will ever know? When there's no witness, no accountability, no consequence? Do you still do the right thing? Do you still keep your word to yourself? Do you still honor your values? Or do you take the shortcut, make the excuse, break the promise and tell yourself it doesn't matter because nobody saw? That moment right there, that's where character is built or destroyed. Not in the big public moments where everyone's watching. In the small private moments where you're the only one who will ever know. When you choose to get up even though you could sleep in. When you tell the truth even though a lie would be easier. When you do what you said you'd do even though you don't feel like it anymore. Most people think character is about being good when it matters. But character is about being consistent when it doesn't seem to matter at all. It's about doing the dishes when no one's coming over, exercising when no one will see your body, working on your goals when no one's asking about your progress, being honest when dishonesty would go unnoticed. That's character, and it's built one invisible choice at a time. Most people perform character. They act honest when honesty serves them. They show up when it looks good. They do the right thing when someone's watching. But real character exists in the dark. In the moments where no one would ever know, where you could take the shortcut and face no consequences, where you could break your word and nobody would find out. What you do in those moments, that's who you really are. Building this kind of character requires brutal honesty with yourself. You have to stop making excuses. Stop blaming others for where you are. Stop pretending you're a victim of circumstances you created. Look at your life right now. The parts you don't like, the patterns that keep repeating, the problems that follow you everywhere. You played a role in that. Maybe not all of it, but some of it. And until you own that, you can't change it. The hardest person to be honest with is yourself, because you know all your own excuses. You know the reasons behind your failures. You know the context that makes your mistakes make sense. You can justify anything to yourself, and that's dangerous, because if you can always explain away your failures, you'll never fix them. You need to become your own harshest and most loving critic, harsh enough to call yourself out when you're lying to yourself, loving enough to believe you can do better. Most people are either too harsh or too soft. Too harsh and you destroy yourself with criticism. Too soft and you never grow. But the right balance, that's where transformation happens. Ask yourself hard questions. Why did that relationship really end? What role did you play? Why do you keep ending up in the same situations? What pattern are you repeating? Why haven't you achieved what you said you'd achieve? What excuses are you making? These questions hurt, but they also heal. Because once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. And once you can't unsee it, you can finally change it. Here's what happens when you build real character. You become your own best friend, not in a narcissistic way, in a healthy way. You enjoy your own company. You trust your own judgment. You don't need constant validation because you validate yourself. You can sit in silence without spiraling. You can be alone without feeling lonely. You become a person you actually want to be. This means developing self-discipline, doing what you said you'd do, even when motivation dies, waking up when you said you would, finishing what you started, honoring commitments to yourself the same way you'd honor them to others, maybe more. Because every time you break a promise to yourself, you teach yourself that your word means nothing. And if you can't trust yourself, who can you trust? It means building resilience. Life will break you. Multiple times. You'll fail. You'll lose. You'll face things you're not ready for. And your character determines whether you stay broken or rebuild. Resilient people aren't people who never fall. They're people who always get back up, who learn from the pain, who become stronger in the breaking. That's character. It means knowing your values and living by them, not the values you claim, the values you actually practice. If you say family matters but never call, if you say health matters but destroy your body, if you say honesty matters but lie when it's convenient, those aren't your values, those are your wishes. Your real values show up in your calendar and your bank account and your daily choices. And it means being someone you'd want to be stuck with, because eventually you will be, in the quiet moments, in the difficult seasons, in the times when everyone else has their own lives and you're left with yours. Can you stand yourself then? Can you look in the mirror and respect who's looking back? Can you trust that person to make good decisions, to keep going, to not give up on themselves? This is the work nobody talks about. Building yourself into someone reliable, someone steady, someone who doesn't need external circumstances to be okay, someone who carries their own peace, their own purpose, their own worth. Because at the end of the day, you're the only person guaranteed to be there. Make sure you're someone worth being with. If you're committed to becoming someone you respect, affirm it here. I trust my character. You started this video looking for truth, and now you have it. 6 truths that most people spend their whole lives avoiding. That standing alone isn't failure, it's strength. That loyalty is proven by action, not words. that being forgotten is freedom, not tragedy, that your energy must flow toward alignment, that your peace requires fierce protection, that the character you build is the only thing you can truly rely on. These aren't easy truths. They ask you to let go of people you love, to accept impermanence, to take responsibility, to do the hard work nobody sees. But they're also the truths that will set you free. Free from needing validation, free from false promises, free from energy vampires, free from the weight of trying to be remembered, free to just be. Standing alone isn't the punishment, it's the point. It's where you finally meet yourself, where you build the foundation that nothing can shake, where you become unbreakable not because nothing hurts you, but because you know you can handle whatever comes. So, stand. Stand in your truth. Stand in your boundaries. Stand in your character. Stand even when everyone else sits down. Stand even when standing costs you relationships. Stand because you finally understand that you were never really alone. You were always there, and you're finally enough. Before you go, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Drop a comment with the affirmation that hit you hardest. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe to this channel, because we're just getting started. This is where we build strength together. Now go. Build a life so strong that whether people stay or go, you remain standing. If you're ready to stand unshaken, no matter who leaves, say it loud. I stand strong alone.